What is going on, guys, and welcome back to my channel, Team Acne. Now let's get right down to it. Antibiotics are a favorite of dermatologists. They prescribe them all the time. Now, what don't you know that you should know about them? And what can you do instead of them to improve your acne? By the end of this video, you'll know all of that. Okay, so first, a little backstory about me. I used to have really severe cystic acne. It got to a point where I was literally just desperate because I tried everything and nothing was working for me. So I was like, okay, let's go to the dermatologist and let's see what we can make happen. Now, when you go into a dermatologist, this is kind of generally what going in looks like for most people. You go in, you have your initial appointment, you talk about your acne, he checks out your skin. Usually they'll prescribe you something like a topical, something like benzoyl peroxide, sometimes a retinoid like Retin-A. If that doesn't work when you come back, then they'll start discovering whether or not you should be on topical antibiotics like erythromycin, or if they want to put you on oral antibiotics like minocycline or doxycycline, which is exactly what they put me on. And then if that doesn't work, then they'll take you to the next step, which is accutane. Now, I want to be clear, I'm not trashing antibiotics by any means. You know, for some people, it actually does work extremely well. And for some people, that's the end of their acne journey. It is able to almost entirely clean up their acne, and there we go. But for a lot of people, most people who are like me, it didn't do anything at all. Literally, I saw no difference in my acne when I was on doxycycline. I think I also took minocycline as well. And so then we started moving forward with, should I go on Accutane? So when I looked more into this topic of antibiotics and dermatology, I found this article by Dermatology Times, and it says that dermatologists make up less than 1% of all the doctors in America, but they prescribe more than 5% of the antibiotics that are prescribed to everyone in America. So it's an interesting, discrepancy there. In that same article, Dr. Baldwin says topical erythromycin no longer works in the United States because P. acnes bacteria has become so resistant to it, and when you use topical erythromycins, it does not treat acne. All it does is increase the resistance of the bacteria that happen to be sitting on the skin. She also goes on to say, never ever should a patient just be on an oral antibiotic. At the very least, they have to have benzoyl peroxide and they have to have use of a retinoid. So like Retin-A, or if you're getting it, at home, then it would be something like an adapalene gel, what's the name of that one? Oh yeah, like Different Gel. Now, the American Association of Dermatology actually backs this up as well. And they say there's 4 steps that need to be followed if you are put on antibiotics to help improve your acne. Now, number 1, they say that you have to use all of the medicine in your treatment plan. So if you're on antibiotic and they give you something else like benzoyl peroxide, you should absolutely follow through and use all of the things, because they're saying that antibiotic resistance is a global health problem. You may need to use benzoyl peroxide or adapalene gel along with an antibiotic. And what they are basically saying is that they don't want you to just rely on antibiotic, because if that doesn't work, you might be put on antibiotics for longer. And also, there's a lot of evidence that mixing antibiotics with benzoyl peroxide or a retinoid is able to improve acne a lot better. Now, number 2, they say reduce acne flares with gentle skincare. So scrubbing can irritate your skin and worsen acne. So they want you to be very gentle with your skin. They don't want you to be using mechanical exfoliations like St. Ives apricot scrub. Like, that is the bane of all of the acne community, is existence. I think everybody knows not to be rubbing, harsh rocks and scrubs into your face, but especially when you're on antibiotics. Number 3, they say keep your follow-up appointments with your dermatologist. They need to be able to see regularly, see if it's changing your skin, and then change your medications and prescriptions according to that. And then number 4, they say that they want you to follow your maintenance plan. So after you're off of antibiotics, they might give you other medications, or they might give you other suggestions of products to use, and you need to be continuing to use those so that you can manage your acne. Now, generally, antibiotic courses for acne usually run somewhere around 3 to 4 months. And you probably heard this before, I just mentioned it earlier, but antibiotic resistance is a huge problem in America, not only just because of acne, but because of how much we prescribe antibiotics for everything, like just common colds, but especially for things that it actually needs to be used for, like pneumonia. But the problem is antibiotic resistance basically is when fungi and bacteria gain a resistance to the drugs that are used to kill them, and then they become resistant to those drugs. So then when you really need antibiotics to, take care of something that's more serious, it doesn't work because your body's already resistant to it. So that's becoming a huge problem and it's trying to be addressed right now, but they haven't been able to fully figure out what to do next. Something really important for me is I found out that I needed to be taking probiotics after I did my antibiotic courses, because antibiotics will wipe out all sorts of bacteria in your gut, not only the bad ones, but also the good ones. And so you need to replenish those good bacteria by having prebiotic fibers, which are things like vegetable fibers and fibers that come from like oats and whole grains and things like that. That's going to feed the good bacteria. But then you also need to introduce new good bacteria into your gut. So you can do that by eating things that have probiotics in it. So like fermented foods like sauerkraut or kimchi or kombucha. You can even obviously take like probiotic pills. But for a lot of people, they've never even heard of gut health. And when they introduce probiotics into their diet, they see a massive improvement in their acne. So that's something that is just like a small little tip that I think a lot of people don't think of when they try to address their own acne, that if they did start trying that, they would probably see a pretty good improvement. So that's my little secret tip for you today. Try some probiotics, see if it improves your acne. If it does, continue on with them. So there you have it, guys. There's my updated video on acne and antibiotics. I hope I shed some new information on you in terms of antibiotics and acne. As always, if you are dealing with acne scarring, discoloration, if you want to improve your skin texture, you should always check out my favorite skincare brand, which is Vanish. You can use my code Brian5 for $5 off your first order of $50 or more. My absolute favorite skincare brand in the world. If you enjoyed this video, give it a big old thumbs up. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and share with the rest of us what you think about antibiotics and acne, or what your experience has been with antibiotics and acne. Did it help you, or did it not do anything for you at all? Remember, you are not alone, you are beautiful, and you're part of Team Acne. I'll see you guys next video.